Francisco di Nostromo. I have a site. I have things to say. Just opinions. Please listen and feel them. I hope they do well. Thank you. It's like I don't exist. Nobody.
Yeah.
I'm talking about news agency, Lou Dobbs, and stuff like that. I did not exist. Nobody. But they sent me the letter, so I do exist. So now they're going to have to answer that. Well, that's all part of the design that they had to deceive the American people. It will be put up there for judging, okay, whatever. So, and it never happened. That was all bullshit because they already had pre-planned and everything like that. You that. Yeah, so the deception I see is so deep.
That's awesome, man.
Okay. Well, this design is it's 130 feet tall, 25 by 25 by 25 by 25. Okay, and it's made of a 3,100 metal plates, and they stand 4 feet by 12 inches, and they're tied together in a way that they stack one on top of another, and it goes up for 130 feet. And it has the names of each of the alleged victims of the events, okay, cut out through the center, and it was supposed to generate light through from the inside out, and all their names would be there. And when you turn on the lights from within, their lights would shine out. So that was the design. I've got all kinds of different ideas and to make it portable too, because I wanted to cart it around from place to place to place, and you know, let that thing be seen for what it was. Because now I know the truth. We are putting it all together, and I'm happen to be a recipient of the truth about why, who, and how. Yeah, and now that this is the biggest lie we've ever been told. And consequently, we can't just let that stand. I mean, come on. It's a slap in the face. It's 15 years old almost.
Look at all the people in the world that aren't doing anything.
And you know, a lot of people in the world know and believe that events 9/11/01 were inside jobs.
Yeah, they just don't care. All they care about is cell phones and publicity.
Now, time to wake up.
Sex.
Time to wake up. You have to wake up.
The world, it's ridiculous what TV's done to the world.
Well, they use mass media and we make our own. We become the new media. The media of we and us. You got to choose which team you're going to be on, either the winning team or the losing team. And as I understand it, we already won. So
yeah,
choose wisely.
That's needed, man.
Two. Thank you.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, please. I really appreciate you, Mr. Cisco, taking the time to show me what you brought to present to me today.
Appreciate you too, brother.
Yeah, not a problem at all, not a problem. We started out this morning down here, we were going to do some time lapse, but that didn't pan out. And since we ran into you, how much more perfect would it be for us to get a chance to go through some of your materials? So, you started out with explaining would you like to re-share that again?
Sure. It's called the E.V. Plebeiodius. It's the name of the press.
All right.
It's E.V. Plebeiodius Press. It says, there is this lush green grassy pasture surrounded by a secure fence, and all over this pasture lay many piles of bovine droppings. Standing amongst these many piles of bovine droppings are two bovine, a steer and a bull. Concerning these bovine droppings, obviously there are two types, steer shit and bullshit. Now, when it comes to steer shit, we people absolutely love it, as we buy it by the bags full and the truckloads. But when it comes to bullshit, it seems nobody wants anything to do with it, right?
That's right.
So the question arises, how does one decipher the good shit from the bad shit in this lush, green, grassy pasture? And the answer is to use your God-given E.V. Plebiotius meter. And if you don't have an E.V. Plebiotius meter, then you use the sense, you don't say you don't believe in God, then use the sense of a good mother or father if you don't believe in God. So E.V. Plebiotius is spelled E-V-E-P-L-E-B-E-O-D-I-O-U-S.
E.V. Plebiotius meter.
Yeah. And its definition is bullshit, very stinky. And that's what we have in our society today.
And if you Google that, you can find that already.
Yeah, you can Google it. E-V-E-P-L-E-B-E-O-D-I-O-U-S.
Excellent, excellent.
So that's basically what the whole program is all about, is all the bullshit that we've been fed, all the EV that we've been fed all these many years. My whole life, your father, your mother's whole life, and their grandmother and grandfathers, same way.
Absolutely.
All of the direction that we have gone due to the directors called the elite, which are the New World Order elite.
Right, some of the elite banker families of the world. We also have some of the resource holders, the industrial leaders. These guys all get fairly marginalized together, and they have their pawns that they use in the entertainment and in the industry to kind of funnel their bullshit out to the masses. And that's where I step in and say, you don't have to make your idol some lame tard out there who's pushing, Jesus, the book of Jesus Christ, as Kanye West has printed his own version of the Bible and removed all versions of Jesus Christ out of it and placed Jesus instead. It's just like, come on, can your ego get any more inflated than that? People don't need to look up to people like that. People need to look up to people with integrity, strength of character, pure intention, living righteous purposes. Fair. And a bullshit meter is a great thing to have. I believe that somebody said, give a person power, and their moral compass will dictate what type of person that individual is. People like Kanye West with that kind of power and authority, they're not sharing anything to be constructive for this earth, for our family here. They're sharing things, putting little boys in dresses with their fashion lines. He has a boy dress for all men and juniors and athletes, and hey, everybody's entitled to their own rights and opinions and choices of life. But don't confuse people. Give them a fair opportunity to be educated. You already got people confused enough as it is. And with your press, are you going to utilize it as an opportunity for people to send you publications as well? What all do you want to do with that particular idea?
Well, the idea has spawned is not the right word. I found out that has to do with fishes. So what I want is to just bring the truth, resurrect the truth. That's what we need to do, is resurrect the truth, because the lie kills the truth. It shrouds it, it confuses issues, and that's its intention, is to confuse. So I just want to see the truth be resurrected in mass, and it's through education that we do this.
Right.
We were educated by the public school system, which is a part of they and them.
The indoctrination process, correct?
Right, and the programming, in the programming process.
And programming is detrimental to youth. It's not in any way beneficial. They come out of the system so jacked up every time. You're lucky, few in between. Then they get to go on to the major collegiate body, and earn themselves a body of debt. That's all they get there, really.
Well, they're sent to the higher learning they choose to go. We choose to do everything as people, and they choose to follow that lead that they've been given, which is more or less bait. It's a baiting event that takes place, and that's what prompts us on, and that's what that gives us food for thought for our decisions that we want to make. Wow, I can do this, and I can do that, and I can be here, and I can be a jet setter. I can do all these things, or I can have a great home, which stimulates one to want to partake of a system like that. So we're directed, and then there's the other director, which is Mother Nature, and our Father, a Creator. If we believe, if there are people who don't believe, there is a direction of nature that you cannot deny. So there is the natural and the unnatural. There's the truth and the lie. There is that which perverts the truth and perverts Mother Nature, and just takes and leads us in a direction that somebody else wants us to go on. It's a manipulator. Manipulated.
Deception. Deception is one of the strongest tools used in this campaign against us.
The lie. Absolutely.
So, what else do you have? What else have you brought us to look at and to discuss? And then answering the question as well, do you have any interest? You know, I understand you have some works you've published here, and you look to do some additional publications, correct?
Absolutely. He's into them, like the March of Truth for Our Youth that I spoke of to you.
Okay.
You know, that's the main point of the spear, if you will. That is the main focal point, is to take our youth and instruct them of all the lies that we've been told that we're aware of now. And there are so many of them, but there are certain ones that are very important, the major ones that we need to. Once you dispel those major ones, then one could sit back and say, okay, factually, they're dispelling all these things that we've been taught to in the history books that the victors wrote, and that we were confident was the truth, and we're just learning what life's about anyway. So we have all these things that were taught to us that were lies. Now, the guys that were teaching it to us, our history teachers and whatnot, or whoever the teachers may be, they're not even aware that they were teaching lies themselves. Well, now the lies have been exposed. We have all this fact in the black and white, and I like to say, and written in the clotted blood of all the innocents that have been taken due to the unjust wars that we fight due to the lies that we've been told about, which makes them unjust wars. I have my own vision on war. Well, what am I about? This is my mission statement. Okay, my name, Francisco D. Nostromo, or Cisco D. It's just a writing moniker, and it was intended for anonymity, as we spoke. But we can't go into this with hoods on our faces. Right. We need to stand up and let the world know who we really are, and without the fear of retribution from the powers that were. I call them the powers that were because we and us are the new powers that be.
Right, I love it. That's great.
And it's true. If we take it on, if we do this, we can be the powers that be. If not, then they still have the power given to them simply because we do not take our victory. And we need to take it, and you know, and I was thinking about own it. You know, how you're supposed to own what you do wrong, take responsibility, own it.
It's yours.
Well, we own the victory too. And you know, and that's what we're going to do, is take our victory and wear the crown.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
So this mission statement is basically, there's very little that I could add to it, except for the fact of the March of Truth for Our Youth tour.
Okay.
And some of the stuff that's taking place because of the new interest. And also I call this Team We and Us.
Okay.
And it's a unification.
Team We and Us.
Team We and Us. Let me say, it is what it is. It is we, they, us, them.
Excellent.
Okay.
Nice.
Which of these are you? Are you with those who are the liars and the thieves and the murderers, which is they and them? Or are you with we and us, who have been lied to, stolen from, been murdered, and been used to murder other people? And that's the key word, is murder. We have killed. As a society, an American society, and even as a worldly society, because we're not the only killers, but it's the unjust wars that have been created, and each of the killers don't understand what they're killing for.
Right.
And we shouldn't kill at all, but when you're taking a bowl of rice and you're required to give a bowl of blood in return, then that isn't right.
Right, right.
Okay, that's not just in any way, shape, or form.
Especially when not too long before that, they went in there and industrialized the famine. They would go in there and they industrialized the need. That's part of the process. First they create the need, then they create a solution, then they provide the solution.
Absolutely.
It's just how it is.
Order out of chaos.
Go.
Well, these certified letters that I sent in, like I said, I got no response back from them. And I was beginning to think, you don't exist. Well, I know I exist, and they know I exist. They just don't want to respond. they don't know how to respond. So better not to say anything, you know.
Right.
So that's where we're at with that.
You created these certified letters in response to the 9/11/01.
Because this is a pre-programmed, scripted thing taking place among the many things that we're living scripted lives. We're scripted. Matrix, the movie Matrix, I believe, pointed that out very deeply. And it's great that one was played. You got to wonder about everything you see. But we're scripted. They're scripted. We're scripted because they're scripted, and the scripts just get passed.
But we have a beautiful gift that they're very threatened by, and that's something that's been brought to our attention as of late. And it's certain genetic markers that are found in certain individuals, and that's their ability to find, observe, review, get ahead of the script, and eventually jump it. And that's what happens, is that if the few of us can do this with the ley lines that exist in the earth, everything is information. Everything is bandwidth and information, as we've been told before in certain groups of scientific bodies. Whether we agree with that or not, that's into the individual to decide. But we are able to perceive information far in advance. It's been proven over and over again. Not only is there predictive programming, but there's also something innate to human beings. Some think of it like this. Let's say that there's an island with 100 monkeys on it, and those 100 monkeys are taught how to wash potatoes. And all the monkeys on the mainland, well, they've never been taught how to wash potatoes, but simultaneously, after the 100 monkeys learn to wash potatoes, all the monkeys on the mainland suddenly know how to wash potatoes without having been taught anything prior to that. And what that is suggesting is that after so many people have taken the opportunity to cognizantly absorb information, it becomes wirelessly available to others in the body because of the way we vibrate. They say that insects aren't the only creatures that use, wireless-based communication, which is, through their antennae and through the pheromone chemicals. So, having that said, when 100 people knew that there was a plot to take place, what was about to occur on 9/11, that means that the subconscious world, the minds of the subconscious masses, were beginning to resonate with that information. It was going to manifest in their dreams, in their writings, in their internal projections. And this is just truth. It's unfortunate that we have to accept these things, but this is just what's been scientifically proven. It started out in England with a picture that was comprised of 1,000 images, but that image looked at from afar just made the Queen of England's face. They showed it on TV and they asked everybody to call in. Everybody just saw the Queen of England. Well, they showed after the program, they said, well, look at all the little images. Then they showed that image to the mainland, up over there in Europe, like Britain and England. They showed it to the mainland, and they said, we want you to call in and tell us what you see on the screen. And instead of the audience who hadn't seen the image before, because they were on a separate television channel and programming syndicate, instead of them just seeing the one image, they also saw all the little images within it. So automatically, the people had already absorbed the information that this image was comprised of many smaller images. Nobody had ever seen an image created like that before, so they weren't used to seeing images made of images.
It's a matter of discernment.
Right.
Okay, and by what you're saying is that people have the ability to have an influx of information given to them through other people's experiences.
Absolutely.
Okay. With deadheads like me, I guess the dance, because I say I was behind 2 years.
Okay.
I took, and let me explain that. Okay. All these years I'm working on this memorial, I'm not paying attention to what really is going on the other avenue, the other front. I was directing my focus to this.
Okay.
Okay. That's why I feel I didn't catch hold. I also wrote about Osama bin Laden and why he may have done this dirty deed. What are the promulgations of events that force we into doing things in retribution or defense? What would be the causes? That's how far I was in to not being on the right track. You follow me?
I do.
So then, one of these letters I sent that wasn't certified.
That's how far you went down the wrong rabbit hole.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, I was just blinded.
Yeah.
But I watched those towers fall, and I thought they fell a certain way. But then there's more questions that come into play.
Right.
What about building 7? That was always the big question. After I became aware, I delivered I delivered a packet, okay, that I had sent.
Keep going.
That I had sent to a company called Orange County Choppers. And I sent it to them, and what it was is a letter about a design for a native bike to commemorate the Native Indians, but also to talk to them about their 343 fighter bike they had created for the memorial it was their memorial, and they made a big hype deal about it. And I'm not, but they had the wherewithal to make a mock. Yeah, talk about blowing things out of the water, but that's okay. We'll talk about certain things that you and I need to do. I'm going to put this on our film here. Okay, so you'll understand where I'm coming from.
Absolutely.
In this radio show that I want to do very, very badly, and I've just been picking dates to do it, and I'm not making my dates. I'm a year and a half out from when I'm supposed to put it on the air. In that show, there's some information by a gentleman who I shall not name because I forgot we might get promoted now. So, in a sense, what I'm saying is I'm giving away something out of the first show.
Okay.
The first show, it's not the first show. This show coming is dynamic, and I had to put it out in a way that would illustrate what's really going on and where we're at with it.
Right.
But in it is a series of writings that I've been sent.
Okay.
Leave it at that, and then I'll explain that to you. Okay.
Fair. So remember that for the future, my friend.
Yes, you remember that for the future because I would like to see it aired. But this is explaining the reason why I do what I have done.
What you've done.
Yeah.
What your initial determination to, what initial actions you're going to be taking.
This is my mission statement, and this is out of the.
Please share it.
Yes, this is out of the press. It's called Creedian Informer.
Right.
Which is an acronym that stands for the Civil Rights Education Enforcement Defense International Alliance Network.
Civil Rights Education Enforcement Defense International Alliance Network.
Right.
Excellent.
And that's the Creedian Informer, and that's the publication.
These will all be superimposed into the video later?
And who this person is anonymous, but he has a name.
Okay.
His name is Hippolytus. So this is the mission statement. And it's designed to inform people and to teach.
Okay.
And my mission statement, well, first let me define mission, okay? It's a noun, and it is an important assignment carried out for political, religious, or commercial purposes. That's the definition of mission. And my mission statement is this. I'm not seeking fortune and fame. I'm just trying to help alleviate pain. The words I speak are from the dove's beak, always to be true, though sometimes bleak. Some of my words may seem hard like a rock, but still they pass not from the beak of a hawk. Very hard I'll try to help my fellow man. 'Tis against corruption, strife, and hunger I will make my stand. Keep me free from hypocrisy. And that's Francisco D. Nostrum. Do I continue?
As you will.
To the reader and listener and viewer, I have some values and principles, also some views and opinions. The latter I feel need to be heard for whatever the reasons. The content of my writing is more commentary and fixed in opinion, and at this time I open myself to your critique, whether pro or con. I feel compelled to write my heart for various different reasons, of which two stand out ahead of others. One, I am angry as hell at the hypocrisy I am forced to live under, and so too, my heart is sorely afflicted and full of the pus of injustice. Two, being a socially oriented human, I feel an obligation to my fellow human in this manner. If any need should arise, and if there be any way I am able to help, I should do so. As George H.W. Bush stated, the New World Order is really a tool for addressing a new world of possibilities. So too, the Creedian Informer is a tool to counter the objectives and directives of the masters of the New World Order. By writing, I hope to help expose the situations from my point of view and thus stir up debate. This debate is intended to help rectify or correct that which may need rectification or correction. And there is definitely rectification and correction due.
Absolutely.
I do not claim to be grossly illiterate, and nor do I claim to be well educated. You will find that much of my work is not dated, However, the issues themselves may interpret the time of script, and much of my work has been previously written, sometimes many years prior to the publishing. My writing skills are, at best, are obviously minimal, and I wish you to please overlook my grammatical errors. However, feel free to trounce me for what I believe and purport to be, as I know you will. By the way, being perfect is not something I prefer to be. Why? As I sit and ponder these words that I have spoken, I begin to ponder a space full of a thick, pasty substance known as hypocrisy. As I stare into the mirror of my history, I intently study my past works of dissent against the truth. These unjust works brightly glare back at me as a hot flaming fire. It is when I gaze at these revealing images that I become singed, stunned, and transfixed by my errors. How selfish and arrogant I was, and to some perhaps may still be. For in me lies no good thing, someone once said. It is by this realization I conclude that I am not worthy to speak for the people. Therefore I will speak for myself, with hope that if any goodness or prosperity of spirit come of it, that I would feel more whole as a social human being by being able to share that which I have been given. I do my best to defeat ego and can only hope that somewhere, somehow, I didn't get blindsided and I'm actually feeding a monster rather than keeping it at bay. That would be pretty lost. I believe my compulsion to write is more driven by my intent to assist rather than my need to vent my admitted frustrations. With this being stated, I consider the time I spend writing as being sacrificed rather than stolen, even though the time spent writing could be spent enjoying my other life passions. I feel my obligation to my fellow human is more important than any other passion, and therefore I must or should act accordingly. As only one voice of a great choir, I pray that your eyes be open and that you not only see the truth, but also accept it and then act accordingly. You might pray for me that I hold true to my faith.
Very good.
Thank you.
Hello, my friends and associates, my colleagues and comrades. This is Liam Exmel, thanking you for joining us for our conversation in the wilderness with Francisco de Nostromo. Please enjoy the remainder of this interview. We just again want to say thank you. Francisco is a man of truth, and he is embarking on a campaign and a movement that we will refer to as the March of Truth for our youth. Enjoy the tour, as it will come to a city near you very soon. If you enjoyed this program, please like and share, but do not forget to subscribe.
Liam Exmel brings that next level fire.
I would like to teach, but I have a very pressing dilemma, in that teachers give knowledge to those who desire to learn of whatever subject the students may choose for the students' extended future use. So what's the problem? Here is the problem. A very large group of powerful, rich, evil, greedy, selfish, elitist persons do not want the youth of our nation or the world to have a future, except for those who, through ignorance and fear, will bow their bodies and bend their knees and be their master's slaves. To the youth of this nation and of the world, I need you. We need you to stand and be counted and to be counted upon, to speak up, speak out, and speak on against all injustice. You are the most vulnerable and stand to lose all. The masters of the New World Order and their government to come have no intentions of supporting civil rights or any rights in general. Your governor resides in your heart, and whether they are righteous or unrighteous, fair or unfair, charitable or selfish, kind or unkind, it is you who will take the step that they direct. You got to serve somebody, said Bob Dylan. Personally, I myself would rather serve the King of Light than the Prince of Darkness. I have only one thing to give you of any value or of any great importance, and that is more valuable than all of the gold and diamonds and all other manner of precious metals and materials or commodities in and of the world, and this is the simple and plain truth. Not because I must, but because I must. If I could ask of you a dedication, I would not ask you to dedicate yourselves to your jobs, or to your education, or to your communities, or to your nation, or to your father, or to your mother, or to your sister, or to your brother. I only would ask you dedicate yourselves to the truth, and to not just give but a few of your years, but all of your years to the truth. Not because you must, but because you must. Get closer to your families in miles and in hearts. Unite with your friends and the friends of your friends. Stop, look, and listen. Become an awareanoid. Sacrifice that which you love for that which you dearly love. As for myself, I would much rather support social anarchy and have social anarchy support me rather than to serve or support an incorrigible, corrupt, and unjust government or peoples. A social anarchist sees individual freedom as conceptually connected with social equality and emphasizes community and mutual aid. Social anarchism rejects private property, seeing it as a source of social inequality. Social anarchism is used to specifically describe tendencies within anarchism that have an emphasis on the communitarian and the cooperative aspects of anarchist theory and practice. We are not the patriots of the government of men, but of righteous ideology. We are subjects to whom we choose to serve. For many centuries, many cultures exemplified their elders with great respect and high regard. Elders of these many cultures would guide those of their tribes in their charge into an uncertain future with the wise ways of the past. Respect your elders. Give unto them their due benevolence. Elders, perform your duties. This earthly fight is for the future of humanity and the future of our youth. Therefore, we must then arm our youth with humanity for the fight. Listen up, people. Listen. Take notice of and act on what someone says. Respond to advice or request. I am a member of we and us, who are not the spirits of revolutions through violence, but of revelations of the possible alternatives to the necessary changing of the guard. It is we and us who put the meat of the truth of our desperate realities upon your tables. It is up to you to lift these truths to and into your mouths, then masticate, ingest, cogitate, and make them part of you. Truth dispels the lies. It is we and they, and us and them. Which of these are you? Consider this my declaration of independence of earthly governments of men, my body, my vessel, I, a sovereign entity.
Beautiful, beautiful. One cannot serve two masters. No, one cannot. And it's crucial right now. Right now, it's up into the individual to decide, as you say, whether they want to utilize this and use it to create a free world, use it to create an opportunity for youth to be re-educated, to undo the unjust damnation that's been done to countless millions in the name of progress, in the name of liberty. And I do support our government. We've stated this. But it's the administrators that we call upon, that we ask the attention of. Mark these words. These words are going to be ringing true throughout all the countrymen that you serve. You must honor and obey our Constitution and the foresight of our forefathers to see that a nation cannot be ran without God's guidance. Cannot be done. Even one of the head masons of all time, Mr. Washington, said that a government without God is no government at all. So it's up to you to decide how you want to listen to this, how you want to utilize this. This information has been presented at some risk and at some type of sort of accountability to it, that our reputations are on this. We care not of what comes to us, we care of what comes to the kids and to the youth of our future. This is why a march of truth for youth has begun. Is that correct?
March of truth for our youth has begun. It's been happening for a long time, but it's not been pointed in showing how critical it is to us elders of any youth, and I don't care if you're 15 years old, you're an elder of someone else, and
Right.
It always points down to the children, to our progeny, to our lives, to our heritage, to our future, to them. What are we going to hand them?
That's right. So to our administrators, we tell you, we ask you to honor, protect, and to serve our youth. That's what we ask you. And this message is going to be given to the youth in every administrative capacity possible, to each school, to each Boys and Girls Club, to everything. I'm really good at this, my friends. My family, not too long ago, worked for the McDonald Corporation, with the Ronald McDonald Corporation out in the East Coast. You know, we keep our T's and our I's tight. So, you know, be conscious. This is a foresight to what is coming. You are getting a window, an opportunity to see what the message of this year will be. And you don't have to take it from our lips alone. Just look out and read the writing on the wall. That's all we ask. Continue, please, Cisco.
Well, since it's an election year,
yes,
I would like to share with you from the Creedian Informer, and this is publication number 8.
all right.
It continues. I'm going to make a definition. Integrity. Integrity. It's a noun, and quality of being honest with strong moral principles. Trustworthiness, fairness, ethical, sincere, decency, and honor. Presidential profile. This is the title of this publication number 8. It's a presidential profile. What might they be? They should be dedicated to the people, all of the people. They should be a person who believes what is right should be and what is wrong should not. They are one who understands the country that they represent is not above any other country, illustrating the true sense of equality. They are friends to all others, and they would be a steadfast person who would not relent unless they feel they are wronged. They, without pause, will increase the prosperity to those they serve and to those who depend upon their charities. They would not take the pain and sufferings of others lightly, but will instead do their utmost to alleviate the problems and not give vain rhetoric. Katrina was vain rhetoric.
Yes, it was.
They would believe the almighty power of the fist should be held back until sound, reliable, and indisputable proof can be produced to determine and declare war, and that there is no other avenue to travel to ensure the security and safety of the people they represent, not only their country's citizenry, but also their allies' citizenry. If war is ever truly necessary, they would not go it alone, but rather gather the strength and the wisdom of their allies together to face their adversaries with a shield of honor and dignity, and by wielding the ultimate weapon of righteousness, they would be courageous under fire. They would gladly lock arms with their allies, helping to ensure that all of those in the world who also desire freedom may attain it, but only at the request of the oppressed, and only through intense diplomacy and negotiation, never by force, unless it is determined by a unanimous consensus of opinion of worldwide authority. I'm going to say that again. Never by force, unless it is determined by a unanimous consensus of opinion by a worldwide authority that force is absolutely necessary and paramount to ensure the safety and security of those oppressed peoples. They would be diligent purveyors of the truth, believing that the truth will keep us free. Free from deceit, free of corruption, free of contempt from others in the world, free of fear from retribution resulting from lies and falsehoods, like Events 91101, and all the unjust wars and actions that have subsequently taken place because of that lie. They would be one who would not stay or cover the mouths of peaceful dissent, believing the objection to be in earnest, and they would be hard-pressed to uphold freedom of speech with the understanding it is the right. You made a serious mistake with your apparent biased opine concerning the current and now past Israeli-Palestinian conflict of Gaza. Since this writing, there has been other conflicts in Gaza. As the President-elect Barack Obama finally opined and expressed his feelings on the matter of the present Israeli-Palestinian conflict in this manner, paraphrase: if my daughter's bedrooms were being attacked by rockets, I would want to do everything in my power to stop this threat. However, even though the Israelis, seemingly to add their support or justify their actions in Gaza, quoted Barack Obama's opinion to the world, there is another side to this story, and another question that needs to be asked of Barack Obama. Sir, what would you do if you could not provide food for your hungry daughters, or provide medicine for your sick daughters, or provide clean drinking water for your thirsty daughters, or provide safe and comfortable shelter for your daughters? All this due to an unjust blockade against your country and your fellow countrymen, which was installed by a powerful and oppressive bully nation, seemingly intent in aiding to your failure, instead of embracing you and yours with complete peace. The same bully who over 60 years past came and took what was once yours and then destroyed your heritage and then obliterated your peace. Mr. Obama, what would you do when your negotiated desire for a fair and lasting peaceful outcome fails over and over again? Would you feel the need to resort to violence to save your dying daughters? Please do not misconstrue, as I am not condoning violence, only the last resort implied need of it. I believe no cry for an immediate ceasefire and an end to the hostilities may have ultimately cost the lives of many more innocent. And now to your State of the Union address, BHO. It begins with our economy, our most urgent task upon taking office was to shore up the same banks that helped cause the crisis. It was not easy to do, and if there's one thing that has unified Democrats and Republicans and everybody in between, is that we all hated the bank bailout. I hated it. And then you receive your applause. I hated it. I hated it. You hated it. It was about as popular as a root canal. Then you receive laughter. Hated, 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 hated. Everybody hated. I which would be you, Mr. O, twice hated. You hated it. I would assume that would be we. Who would be we? That would be we the people. 4 times the past tense form of hate was used. I think that the bank bailout debacle is not over. Mr. O, it is you who paints Ben Bernanke's face with an arrogant smile instead of shameful frown. I submit that you cannot use the present tense form of hate as you continue holding fast the victims, which is we the people, in the bend-over position, while the rapists of the Federal Reserve and their cohorts pork we all real good. How's that for a route up a canal? Perhaps you would be me a little more PC? Okay. Barack Hussein Obama, your failure to we the people and your guilt is now so painfully obvious, as is also the murderous blood of the many innocent that now stains your hands. In the Fukushima issue, people of America, you need not take any precautions or prepare. BHO, Mr. Imposter, BHO, as it was for George W. Longshanks Bush, you also do not fit this profile of a president. And still, the lies continue.
Solid.
Hey everybody, this is Liam Xmel. I want to say thank you guys for watching. I just recently made friends with Cisco D, and we're going to be helping you guys find out what actions you can take to create immediate action, immediate effect in your communities. We're thankful that you're watching our videos because we're doing them for you. We're not making any money doing this. We're not doing much of anything doing this besides encouraging our peers, our fellow Americans. So thank you. Please, you'll see many videos coming forth from many of our channels associate members. Have a beautiful day. God bless America.